She was laughing just seconds before she disappeared. A summer evening at Wisconsin's Devil's Lake. A group of friends recording TikToks, music in the background, smiles everywhere. The camera caught her face, her voice, her last step toward the water, and then nothing. No splash, no scream, no trace. Police divers searched for weeks. Locals whispered about the curse of the lake, and even today, they say if you go there under the full moon, you'll see her reflection standing on the water, waiting to pull you in. This is not just a ghost story. This is the terrifying true mystery of the vanishing girls of Devil's Lake. It was supposed to be just another summer night. 3 friends, Samantha, Kelly, and Brooke, had driven out to Devil's Lake State Park in Wisconsin. The place was famous for its breathtaking cliffs, crystal clear water, and hiking trails, but to locals it had another reputation. They whispered that the lake was cursed, that the waters had taken more lives than anyone cared to count. But the girls weren't thinking about curses that night. They were thinking about TikToks, music, and making memories before college pulled them apart. The phone camera was rolling. You can still find clips online, their laughter echoing through the trees, the faint glow of the sunset reflecting on the water. Brooke had her arm around Kelly, swaying to the music. Samantha was dancing near the edge, the water just inches away. And then, something happened. On the recording, you can see Samantha turn her head suddenly as if she heard someone whisper her name. The smile on her face fades for just a second. Kelly laughs and asks, "What's wrong?" But before Samantha answers, she takes one step forward. The sound of the music drowns out what happens next. There's no splash, no scream, no movement. The camera jerks as Brooke rushes forward, shouting Samantha's name. The video cuts off right there. The friends searched, screaming her name into the night. They ran to the rangers, who immediately called the police. Dive teams came. Dogs sniffed the shoreline. Helicopters circled overhead, but Samantha was gone. No trace. No body. Just gone. When the video was handed over to the authorities, the investigators slowed it down frame by frame. And that's when they noticed something chilling. In the reflection of the water just before Samantha disappeared, another figure seemed to be standing there. A woman, wearing what looked like a long white dress, and then the screen went black. The morning after Samantha vanished, search teams combed Devil's Lake from end to end. Divers spent hours underwater, but visibility was almost zero. The lake was dark, silty, and cold. Even in August, they expected to find something: a shoe, a scrap of clothing, even bubbles trapped under the rock shelves. But they found nothing. Kelly and Brooke were in shock. They told investigators about the video, about the strange figure in white. The officers brushed it off, calling it a trick of the light. But when the video leaked online, people across the state began flooding the comments section with their own stories. My cousin disappeared there in '96. My grandfather always warned me never to swim after dark. He said the lady of the lake takes you. This is exactly what happened to my uncle. He went fishing and never came back. Locals had always whispered about a ghostly woman who wandered the shores of Devil's Lake. The legend said she was a bride who drowned on her wedding night, more than a century ago. Some claimed she was pushed. Others said she threw herself into the water. Either way, her spirit was trapped, waiting for someone else to join her in the depths. What made the story worse was the pattern. Every few years someone went missing, always near the same stretch of shoreline, always young, always at night. The locals called her the lady beneath the lake. Some even claimed they had seen her, a pale woman drifting just below the surface, her eyes wide open, her dress flowing around her like seaweed. Sometimes she appeared far away, sometimes right beneath your feet. The sheriff tried to shut the rumors down, but the more he denied it, the more people came to the lake. Ghost hunters, YouTubers, thrill seekers. Everyone wanted to catch a glimpse of the lady. But Kelly and Brooke weren't chasing views. They were chasing answers. And 3 nights later, they came back to the lake. They wanted to prove what they saw was real. They wanted Samantha back. It was just past midnight when Kelly and Brooke parked their car near Devil's Lake again. The air was heavy still, almost suffocating. They sat there for a long moment in silence, hands trembling, before Kelly finally whispered, "If we go live, there's no turning back." Brooke nodded, tears already welling in her eyes. She pressed start IV. The stream went public. Within minutes, thousands of viewers joined. The chat flooded with, "This is fake. Do it for Samantha. Don't go near the water." The phone shook in Kelly's hand as they made their way down the rocky trail. Their flashlight beams sliced through the darkness, catching glimpses of trees, the shoreline, the endless black water. The lake looked dead. Not a ripple. Not a sound. Brooke's voice cracked as she spoke to the viewers. "If you see anything, tell us. Please." The comments exploded. Hearts, emojis, then warnings. "Behind you. Something's in the water. I saw her." Kelly swung the camera around. The lake stretched out like a sheet of black glass. At first, nothing. Then movement. A pale shape just below the surface. It was too far to be clear, but the chat went insane. "That's her. Lady." Kelly whispered, "Oh my God, it's real." Brooke screamed. She pointed at the water. Something was rising. The shape floated up until its face broke the surface. Samantha's face. Her skin was blue, her hair floating like weeds. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her hand lifted, reaching toward them. And just as Kelly stumbled closer, desperate to help, another hand shot up, white, thin, claw-like. It grabbed Samantha's arm and dragged her down. The water rippled once and went still. The livestream chat exploded in chaos. Thousands of viewers had just watched Samantha reappear, only to be pulled under by something else. Kelly dropped the phone. Brooke screamed. The livestream ended with nothing but static and the sound of rushing water. When police returned the next morning, Kelly and Brooke's car was still parked by the trail. Their gear was scattered, but neither girl was ever seen again. Only the phone was found washed up on the rocks, and inside it was the livestream, the full, unedited recording. By sunrise, the livestream had already spread like wildfire. Clips of Samantha's pale face rising from the water were everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, news outlets. Millions of people watched the final, horrifying moment when that other hand grabbed her and yanked her into the depths. The video was picked apart frame by frame. Some said it was edited. Others swore they could see a second figure, something tall, twisted, and wrong, standing in the water just before the feed cut out. Comment sections were filled with panic. That wasn't human. You can literally see its eyes glowing. There's something in Devil's Lake. One paranormal investigator uploaded a slowed-down version. He circled the hand that dragged Samantha under, long bony fingers, skin stretched too tight, and in the instant before the water swallowed her, two white eyes flickered in the darkness behind her. Theories exploded. The Lady of the Lake had a master. The lake feeds on the living. It wasn't a ghost. It was something older. But the strangest part wasn't the hand. It wasn't Samantha. It wasn't even the disappearance of Kelly and Brooke. It was the voice. Audio experts enhanced the sound from the final seconds. Beneath the static, beneath the screams, beneath the rushing water, a whisper, deep, cold, ancient, and it spoke one word, more. The video was pulled down from every major platform within 48 hours. Authorities claimed it violated safety and misinformation guidelines. But by then it was too late. Millions had already downloaded it. Millions had already heard the whisper. And across the country, people started reporting something terrifying. Not at Devil's Lake, not even in Wisconsin, but in their own towns. Late-night joggers swore they saw pale figures watching them from rivers. Campers reported ripples in lakes that had been calm for centuries. Fishermen spoke of voices under the surface begging for help, begging to be pulled out. And always, if you listened closely, a second voice. Low, hungry, whispering more. It started small. A missing hiker in Minnesota. A camper vanishing by a quiet river in Oregon. A fisherman dragged off his boat in upstate New York. At first, nobody connected the dots. These were just tragedies. Accidents. The kinds of things that happen near water. But then, people began posting. TikTok after TikTok. Livestream after livestream. Stories that looked too familiar. Someone walking along a riverbank at night, recording for fun, only to catch a pale figure standing waist deep in the current. A kid kayaking on a lake, filming a sunset, when something surfaced behind him and whispered his name. A group of friends night swimming, laughing, until one of them screamed and never came back up. Every video had two things in common: the water and the whisper. More. The lady of the lake was no longer just at Devil's Lake. She was everywhere. Or maybe she had always been everywhere. Paranormal forums lit up with speculation. Some believed the viral video hadn't released the curse. It had only revealed it. That by watching, by hearing the whisper, people had invited the thing behind the lady into their own lives. Like a signal, like a chain reaction, like infection spreading. And then came the disappearances no one could explain away. A whole family's car found abandoned by a riverside picnic area. Doors open, food still on the table. No trace of them anywhere. A lifeguard who dove in after a drowning swimmer. Neither came back up. A woman lived on a video call with her friend, walking near a pond laughing. Until the call shook, the phone hit the ground, and the last thing anyone saw was ripples moving toward the camera. Police denied connections. News anchors called it mass hysteria. But people knew. Something was hungry. And the more people watched, the hungrier it got. And somewhere out there, Kelly was still alive. Or at least, something wearing her face was. Because dozens of witnesses across different states reported the same thing. A girl in a torn shirt, standing by the water, eyes blank, whispering for help. Sometimes it was a river, sometimes a lake, sometimes even a roadside ditch filled with rainwater. But always, the girl vanished when you got close. And if you followed her into the water, you never came back. It all led back to Devil's Lake. The whispers, the missing, the spreading curse, like ripples returning to their source. By now, the legend wasn't just a story. It was a movement. People were daring each other to visit the lake at night. Ghost hunters, vloggers, live streamers. Thousands gathered at the shores, convinced they'd capture proof of the lady of the lake. What they didn't realize was that the lady didn't want proof. She wanted an audience. The night it happened, dozens of live streams were running at once. Different states, different time zones. But when midnight struck, every stream glitched, every camera froze, and then water. Screens filled with black rippling waves. Faces appeared beneath the surface, gasping, screaming silently, their hands clawing at the glass. And behind them her, not the beautiful bride people expected, not the pale figure in white, but something vast, something ancient, with hair like black weeds twisting in the current, a mouth that stretched impossibly wide, and eyes that glowed like lanterns in the abyss. She rose from the lake, tall enough to blot out the moon, and in every live stream across the country, people heard her voice. I am never full. Screams echoed through the feeds. Cameras shook violently. People ran, but it didn't matter. The water followed them. Roads flooded. Rivers boiled. Even fountains overflowed, dragging the living down into impossible depths. Some viewers swore they saw the lady's face pressing against their own phone screens. Some swore they heard her whisper in their ear, even after shutting the app, and then silence. By morning, dozens were missing from the shores of Devil's Lake. Hundreds more had vanished from rivers, lakes, even bathtubs across the country. Authorities blamed it on copycat hysteria. The internet called it the Great Drowning. But the worst part, the videos never stopped. They kept auto-playing, kept whispering. Even if you tried to look away, the algorithm pushed them forward. And every time someone watched, the ripples spread again. So if you're listening to this right now, check the reflection in your screen. If the water looks darker than it should, if you hear the whisper, more, run. Because she's watching, and she will not stop until you join her.